everybody. I'm Philip.
And I'm Justin.
And together we are Pajamas. And we are trucking along through Squid Game. We're on episode 4. Lots of stuff happened in the last one. Some alliances might be strained. Some new alliances might be formed. We might have a new game.
Maybe.
Yes. So many things to wonder. All right. Let's not waste any time on this one. We are eager.
Yes.
See what happens. So without further ado, let's get into it. Oh yeah, I forgot they took him away.
잘 썼어. 기훈이 형. 아니야.
Yep.
고맙네. 예. 자네 따라해서 살았어.
두 번째 게임에서 참가자
Dang.
87명 중 지금까지 적립된 총 상금은
Sheesh.
340.
Stick to the team.
지금부터
I would not be able to eat there. But I want one of those bottles.
자, 실례 좀 합시다.
실례합니다.
Excuse me.
일 안 하고 뭐 하는 거지? 소각장엔 무슨 일로? 상급자가 묻기 전에 먼저 말하지 않는다.
Uh-oh.
난 사람 안 믿어.
Me either.
오늘 밤에는 잘 넘기고 해.
무슨 소리야?
안에서 싸움이 날 거야. 일부러 음식을 적게 주고 싸움을
오.
유도하는 거지.
내가 알아요. 다음 게임이 뭔지.
얘도 우리 편이거든.
이 중에 황인으로고 있습니까?
우린 서로 이름을 모릅니다. 어느 나라에서 왔어?
파키스탄.
파키스탄? 새벽? 이름 좋네. 네 이미지랑은 안 맞지만.
죽이라고 판 깔아줄 땐 언제고 왜 말리고 지랄이야, 이씨.
게임이고 뭐고 그 전에 깨끗이 정리할 수...
맞지 오빠?
오빠? 내가 진짜 오빠 맞아?
내가 몇 살로 보여요?
49. 19?
화장실 좀 갔다 와서 생각해볼게.
갑자기 오줌이 말이 없네.
돌팔이 의사 새끼랑 뭐 있지? 나 배신하면 죽일 거야.
모르스부?
That's what I thought.
이번 게임은 단체전입니다.
Yep.
우린 이미 노인이랑 여자가 있으니까 나머지는 남자들로 뽑아야 돼. 이 손 감춰. 약해 보이니까. 찌야 되는데 괜찮으시겠어요? 저희 팀에 이미 여자가 많아서요.
She's not even trying.
오빠 없이 안 되는데.
Just met him. Seriously.
이발 더럽게 질척거리네 진짜.
Right?
어디다 대고 자꾸.
Alright, now she's gonna kill you.
밀려나긴 누가 밀려나? 오빠들 내가 특별히
no.
같이 해줄.
환영합니다. 이번 게임은 줄다리기입니다.
Ooh. Dang. Oh no, oh no. Damn.
남탄이네.
It'll be fine. All the main characters are on one team. When Ollie doesn't have all his fingers.
힘으로 하는 거 아니면 뭐 줄다리기 말로 합니까?
한 명씩 오른쪽 왼쪽으로 간의 사타구니를 볼 수 있을 정도로 힘껏 터쳐. 그러면은 웬만해서는 안 끌려가.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
둘, 셋.
Oh. Ah. Damn you, Squid Game.
The suspense.
Now we're going to have to watch another one. We're going to do 2 of these in Doctor Who. Luckily, we are ahead from the last block of Doctor Who, but
Yes.
that was the plan for tonight, was 2 Squid Games and a Doctor Who. Should have known. Well, that was quite the episode.
It's much more revealing now of who can and cannot be trusted.
Well,
a little.
Yeah, like...
She's good at what she's good at, except for what she isn't good at.
That is such a good line, yeah.
Which actually can be said about everybody.
Yes, exactly. Like when she was in the stall with him, like, will you really stick with me till the end? Don't deceive me. And it's like, either you're really dumb, or you're like, who's playing who? Of all the people to trust. We talked about the spectrum before. Ollie's over here. Snake Tattoo is over here. You don't trust this guy.
Sex can be used as a strategy, but it turned out to not work for him.
Yeah, well, not with this kind of guy. He's not going to care. I was like, are you shocked? You shouldn't be. First of all. Second of all, you're too clingy, yeah. I'm like, dang. Like, I guess she's playing the game in her own way. But, aye. So we kind of had 2 games in this episode. The first game was Lights Out. And that was rough for me because I don't do well with strobe. Like strobe light effects and whatever. So that was really not fun for me to watch. And then we find out that they actually purposely shorted the food count to cause tension.
Well, they have to get money into that piggy bank somehow.
Yeah.
And that's still assuming that it's real. I would still, even after all of this, I still would want to be made sure of that money is real and that they aren't, this isn't another one of that person's game.
Yeah, that could be like the last game.
Of, surprise, this isn't really real money. Why, this thing is as worthless as Monopoly money. Surprise, isn't this fun? No, it isn't.
That would be an interesting twist. Well, it won't be a twist for us. Or for you if you're watching and haven't seen it. But we'll see if you're right. So then that plays out the exact way they wanted it to. No matter where you're from, or your background, or where you live, or anything like that, at the end of the day, you're human, and the human condition is always the same. We are predictable, naive, stupid creatures that are easily manipulated.
And also, what could be added is that humans can also be very unpredictable.
Well, not in this instance, no. They set up the game to happen, that it would cause tension. It did. Snake Tattoo guy killed that guy. They're like, okay, that's exactly what we wanted.
Are they going to go after certain people, or are they simply going to go at random?
I don't mean the strategy after that. I mean, to get to that moment, if you're in charge of the games, you setting up that moment to happen, played out perfectly, because humans are predictable in that way. Now, once that happens, then there's the air of uncertainty. Because you don't have control over the next part. I'm talking about what they have control over. They can predict the human condition. So they knew if they shorted the food, it would cause tension, and then alpha male guy or alpha female person, either one, would instigate something, and then that would lead to dissension and paranoia and fear. And then boom, strobe light massacre. Yeah, so they killed 27 people on that one, because originally, from the umbrella shape game, we went from 187 to 108 initially. So I mean, 79 people were eliminated from the last game.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go from 108 to 107 when Snake Tattoo kills that guy. And then we go from 107 to 80 with the massacre.
Indeed. It's now from a 3-digit number to a 2-digit number.
Yeah,
it's getting smaller.
Mm-hmm. And then we get into tug of war. Prior to that, there seems to be a little, well, I don't know if I'd call it dissension, but when they come out of the shape game, Song Woo is there, waiting to see who comes out, and he sees that Seong and company come through, and then Seong says, "It's not like you knew." And I was like, way to play that. Seong knows, obviously. But rather than cause further drama or anything, he's thinking about A, the betterment of the team, and B, I think it's also a way to let him know, let Song Woo know that he has his eye on him. Seong's playing stupid. playing like, oh, it's okay, you didn't know. But the way he said it was kind of like, I really like the way that played out. Because I was wondering in the last episode, how would they address that? How would they deal with that situation? And I like the way they did. But then they were butting heads again because they were trying to make the team. And Song Woo didn't want any more females because they already had Pickpocket Lady and then the older gentleman on their team. So like they didn't know what the game was, obviously. Then we get the line that men are better at most games. Casual sexism. Damn.
Didn't even know what the next game was.
Yeah. Well, no, we also find out Ali is Pakistani, which was cool because last episode I wondered where he was from. And in that moment, we learn everyone's names in that group. We also learn the name of Snake Tattoo and Karen.
Assuming that is even his real name.
Exactly, yes. It was a Doksu, I think.
Yes, as far as we know, it could simply be an alias.
Yep. I think it might actually be his name, though, because if I recall correctly, maybe not, because I forget, because his name was said once that I know of when he was sitting in the car with that guy when the people were coming to collect the money or coming to take him away or whatever. And he was all gloating like, ha ha ha, you're so stupid. And he said before that, he was like, oh, so how much money did you lose at the casino? And he's like, how'd you know about that? And then he says his name, and then the guy's like, he says his name back to him like, huh? It's because usually it's like his boss, or that's because he was he's like, you're saying my name, like it was disrespect. So I forget. I'll have to go back and watch and see if they said Doksu. Yeah, but they had to like divide up into teams twice, really. First for the Strobe Light Massacre, and then later on for Tug of War. But it's
expanding the group.
Yeah, and both of the main, because I'm assuming it's coming down to, and it would make sense given my Spectrum analogy I keep using, the team with Ali on it and the team with Snake Tattoo on it, because they're polar opposites on that spectrum. So I assume it's going to come down to that team versus that team in the finals in some way. Strobe Light Massacre was like, we didn't know what was going to, I couldn't even see what was going on really. It was hard for me to watch. It was brutal. Like the first person Snake Tattoo went after was the snitch lady. I was like, damn. Then he went after Pickpocket and she got away, luckily. And then she joins up with the good guys, I guess. Now let's talk about the doctor. Why is he there? What is he doing? It looks like they're harvesting organs from the dead.
Which may be how they're getting all of that money.
But they burn. Like, why were they cutting out pieces from that body? Because they're obviously using his skills in exchange for knowing the next game, which he used as leverage to get in with the villains. So I thought it was interesting that sometimes all you need is the special skill. Sometimes people are good killers. Sometimes people are very smart. Sometimes all you need is information. And he had that. It answers, I think, the last question. Well, I know it does. It answers the last question before when he pulled out honeycomb out of the pastry thing or whatever that was. He pulled the thing out of the egg. He's getting told what the games are. Through that, now I understand what is going on there. But why? That's the big question there. At the end, well, towards the end, when the first two teams went and the one guy was still alive, when they put him in the casket and then they marked it, is he going to be cut up and harvested now? Like, and to what end? Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. That's a big giant question mark. I mean, the whole group is a big giant question mark. Policeman walked in after Strobe Light Massacre, which was interesting, thinking that a police officer was right outside that door, listening to all the murder. Like, he wrote the word abetting. I was like,
well, yes, that's exactly what it was.
But he goes in there and he goes, to 456 and asks him if he's seen, I forget the name now, but asks if he's seen his brother. And he's like, we don't know names. I thought it was an interesting way to infiltrate, to get into the main area to look for his brother. But I still think he's blending in a way too easily. I want to nitpick it because, and I think someone's trying to use Morse code to snitch because they're coughing out number 29. I think 28 obviously knows what's going on, knows something's up, and is trying to let someone know number 29. Unless they know, and they're letting him so they can watch him because they like to monitor. Unless they're monitoring him. And if that's the case, fine. But right now it's kind of like, this is too easy for him. Especially not knowing what to do. Like, okay, you have the square mask, you're higher up now, but
But now what does he do?
Yeah, you go to the elevator. Now what do you do? Like, it's just you don't know what the protocols are. You aren't given any assignments. So
Indeed, simply standing there, looking at the triangles for a while, and then walking towards them.
yeah,
Seemed as if he was giving the impression that he was making this up as he goes, which is actually what he's doing, but he shouldn't want them to think that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think right now, as of this point in the story, that's kind of the weak link as far as storytelling goes. But I understand it. He needs to be a mole and he needs to try and find his brother. And yeah, so I've rambled on. What were your thoughts? I've kind of dominated the conversation. Anything interest you or stick out or anything?
Actually, the social dynamics fascinated me of how these different people are interacting together. Actually, if it weren't for these games, they probably wouldn't have even known each other.
Yeah, yeah. I doubt you would ever see a doctor hang out with a thug, a crime guy.
Maybe if he were getting his organs through, that means maybe.
Maybe.
But that would
Yeah.
probably be the only, that or if he were a patient.
Yeah, of course.
And those are the only ways I can think of at this time.
Yeah, like I was saying, like the alliances are very interesting. Kind of like when they were announcing the teams for Tug of War, and they had I think it was Team 1, which is the villains, and I was like, was it gonna be Team 1 versus Team 4, which are the heroes? I'm gonna call them villains and heroes. So this is easier. I was like, nope, it's Team 7, Expendables. Go upstairs.
Yes, basically they're doing the killings for the soldiers.
Yeah, this time, yeah. That's some extreme Tug of War. Holy crap. At first I thought when the bodies fell, I was like, are they just going to accumulate? Then like by the time the fourth pair go up and they fall, like more people might live because there's more bodies to fall on.
That's what I was wondering, that if I were to fall, I would probably want to land on another body to cushion my fall.
Yeah.
And then maybe as an act of mercy, maybe one of the gods will then shoot me in the head.
Yeah.
Have it be a quick death instead of a painfully slow one of being burned alive.
Yeah, that one guy has maybe, because we don't know what's going on with his marked casket, but right now he's the worst of it. He's dying from that fall, but he's not dead. But nope, they took the bodies away, so there is no such padding.
They already thought ahead of that, and they're going to clean the floor before the next team plays.
Cleanliness, right next to godliness.
It's a very interesting way of putting it.
They were picking the teams. No, they divide up into teams of 10. And sorry if I'm jumping around a lot. I try and keep linear, but like there's just so many dynamics happened. We had 2 games technically, so it's a lot of like like a pinball. And I talked about the possible tension earlier between them. Because Songwoo didn't want any more women, but on paper, no one accounted for the professional tug of war 001, who is a pro. We think like they're not gonna die. They're not. I just would have stayed in that like leaned back position for a while, not just 10 seconds, like because you have the torque, you have the leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Stay there. They're gonna tire them out eventually. And you can be like do. You know, it was a sound strategy. You know, them lean back and stagger and parallel and all that stuff.
Yes, and also taking 3 steps forward so that they will then trip.
Yes.
So that they will then more easily be able to pull.
Yes. Ideal, unless like they get up faster and then, I don't know. You think if they trip and then they hurry up and pull, they're just going to drag them forward and they won't have their footing. So, or be able to get their footing in time. So, but that's interesting because you wouldn't want to kill anyone, but you are actively killing people by your actions. Before it was, don't move and then cut the shape out in time. But then this one is like when they're back on the official games, it's like one group of these 10 people are going to be pulled off the edge, and you literally have hands in killing them.
Yes, and it's actually different from the previous games because this one focused much more on working as a team. They needed to be succinct with each other.
Yes, which
synchronized.
Yeah, they were obviously, everyone else looking at them, they were the weakest team because they have 3 women, including Karen and the older man. We said we have to put the anchor in the back and do all this stuff. And
it isn't simply about raw strength. There's also strategy, which he was correct in stating.
Yep. And, saying you have to look like you're not, intimidated or afraid or anything. Because the other team, the lead guy was like smirking at him. He's like cat eating the canary, like just like thought I had it in the bag. Then they all take the steps forward and boom, we're left hanging like someone else will be when we start the next one until they are dropped. Anything else you want to add? You want me to go to my notes?
Let's go to the notes.
Okay, let's go to the notes.
Philip's notes.
So yeah, I said during the episode, but I learned that I would not be able to eat there because it keeps serving things that I cannot eat, like eggs and milk. My poor insides would just be a mess. And then the outsides would be a mess.
Basically, you would say something like, "Why delay the inevitable? Simply shoot me now."
Don't make me drink the milk.
It's better to have a short, quick, as painless as possible death instead of a long, painfully slow death.
Right, yeah. And then at first, when Snake Tattoo guy killed the other guy, because then the scoreboard changed and the money dropped. I thought then they realized they don't need a game to play to further the number in the scoreboard and the money.
Incentive.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. They don't need to actually play the game. But then again, it turned out it was part of another game. But at first I was like, oh, like you just taught a rabid dog that it was okay to bite someone else. I wrote, what is 111 doing? Autopsy? We don't know. And when we see the doctor, and then they're like, we're done. They basically tell him, survive the next game, and the operation can continue. So they were just like, find the strongest team. So, interesting. It's very interesting what's going on there.
They need each other somehow.
Somehow, yeah.
It shows that there's much more going on than simply an extremely eccentric rich person with a very morbid sense of play is bored. It's much more than that.
Yeah. We get the whole thing between Karen and Snake Tattoo guy with Babe. Babe, take a shot every time. So the word babe, of course, and she's super clingy.
Well, yeah.
And then that one part where they all split off, all five of them, to go look for 5 more people. Song-woo approaches that man. It's like, hey, do you want to be part of the group? And he's like, well, my wife is here too. He has to say sorry and leave, and just like, oh, I'm like, man, Song-woo, you're slow burn heel turn.
To be fair, like all of the other players, he's doing what he can do to survive in the only way that he knows how.
Yeah, and then what I was thinking of is like, imagine you were that couple, and then you see that team, and they have 3 women and an old man, and they wouldn't take you or your wife. Because just the look on his face was just like just both of them were just like, I felt bad. I was like, oh. And then, of course, and then when they announced the game, and they show Songwoo's face, and he's just like, shit. On paper, he was right. In the realm of this kind of, strength type thing, whereas we said, and as the older man said, strategy is more important than strength. But they showed with strategy, all of them were holding their own against that entire other team at first. So that was very interesting. And that is all for my notes. Everything else are for my patrons over on Patreon. Damn you, Squid Game. I apologize to my Whovian friends out there. We are going to do a Doctor Who later. This is already acting up pretty bad. So I think I have one more left in me before my glandular issue just makes it impossible for me to talk. We're ahead on Doctor Who enough that next weekend, fingers crossed, in our time, by the time this one comes out, it'll be a moot point. Because it will be like weeks removed from that because we watch in blocks. But hopefully, as said, barring any bullshit from people we live in the same place with, we can do some binging next weekend. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to add about this episode?
No.
Okay. Well, it's going to wrap this one up. As always, I don't have a fancy outro, so I'll simply say thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.